Alright guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for the latest in boxing. So Tony Bellew, Liverpool's own Tony Bellew, has claimed that a fight between himself and Tyson Fury is actually a more easier fight than a fight between himself and Aleksandr Usyk. Now, if you guys didn't know, right now Eddie Hearn is trying to make Aleksandr Usyk versus Tony Bellew for the undisputed cruiserweight championships of the world. By the way, if you want to know my opinion, I believe Usyk beats Tony Bellew. I only give Tony Bellew a puncher's chance because when it comes to skill set, when it comes to boxing skills, there's no way in hell Tony Bellew is going to be able to win a decision over Aleksandr Usyk. Usyk has Tony Bellew's number. He would easily outbox Tony Bellew, and like I said, the only way I see him winning is if he catches him with one of his big punches and manages to hurt and then stop Usyk. That's really the only way. Now, do I agree with this? Do I agree that Usyk is a more difficult challenge against Tony Bellew than the likes of Tyson Fury? Absolutely. Tyson Fury is inactive. Tyson Fury has gained a lot of weight. You're talking about in Usyk a guy who's been extremely active, a guy who's been not only active, but he's been fighting in the highest level of boxing. Aleksandr Usyk has fought nothing but legit, top quality cruiserweight contenders. He's literally wiped out the cruiserweight division because if you look at his resume, he has the most stacked and the most impressive resume in the cruiserweight division. That's why he is the undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world, because he fought all the other champions. He's completely stacked. So when you're dealing with someone like Usyk, he's a guy who has been very active. He's been fighting legit cruiserweights. He's been fighting in the highest level of boxing. So right now, his reflexes, his timing, everything is at its peak. It's at his best. He's basically really fresh. But you compare that to someone like Tyson Fury. Fury hasn't fought in a legit matchup since November 2015, which was, of course, against Vladimir Klitschko. Since then, he's only fought once against a guy who is not going to challenge him, is not going to, see if he's still the same Tyson Fury, because Surfer did not challenge Tyson Fury at all. He didn't test if Tyson Fury still has endurance. He didn't test if Tyson Fury still has his reflexes. He didn't have nothing to offer against Tyson Fury because he was one of the lowest levels of comeback opponents you could choose. He was a very low-level opponent. So nothing Surfer could bring out the best side or could bring out the side that we could see if Tyson Fury is still the same. So, and another thing, you're dealing with the rust. You're dealing with the weight gain. You're dealing with the mental issues, the drug abuse when it comes to Tyson Fury. These things play a factor. So you have that guy versus Aleksandr Usyk, who has been active. As far as I'm concerned, doesn't have no type of mental, illnesses. As far as I'm concerned, isn't, gaining 100 pounds in between fights. He's always in shape. He's been fighting at the highest level of boxing. So, yes, for that reasons alone, I will say that Aleksandr Usyk is a much more dangerous fight and a much more difficult fight for someone like Tony Bellew. Right now, Tony Bellew would be able to land his shots on Tyson Fury. 3 years ago, I wouldn't be saying that. 3 years ago, I would be saying that Tyson Fury would be a nightmare for Tony Bellew, because realistically, he should be a nightmare for Tony Bellew because he's so much taller, so much longer, and he's a boxer, and he forces his opponents to come after him, and that is the worst thing you could be for someone like Tony Bellew, because that's how you beat Tony Bellew. But that was 3 years ago. I'm looking at the current version of Tyson Fury, and the current version of Tyson Fury is not what as far as I'm concerned, he's not what he used to be. He's so much easier to hit. Look at Surfer versus Tyson Fury, his first comeback opponent. He actually managed to land on Tyson Fury. Now, what is Tyson Fury known for? He's known for being a very savvy heavyweight who it's difficult for you to land on him, right? That's what he's known for, being a slick boxer. I've seen some people say he's the Floyd Mayweather Jr. of the heavyweight division. I've seen people say that because of the fact that it's hard to hit him. He's really good defensive-wise. So think about this for a second. A very low-quality opponent in Surfer was able to actually land on Tyson Fury, a short 5'8" cruiserweight who really looks like he's a super middleweight, was in there fighting a fully fledged heavyweight in Tyson Fury, and he managed to land on Fury. So imagine if he fights someone like Tony Bellew or an active heavyweight at this point. What's going to happen? You're going to see Tony Bellew, I'm telling you, land. I'm not saying he'll necessarily beat him, but trust me, you're going to see Tony Bellew landing on Tyson Fury 100%, because Tony Bellew is miles ahead in terms of levels, in terms of compared to Surfer. You know what I'm saying? The same thing goes for Dillian White. The same thing goes for Deontay Wilder. The same thing goes for Anthony Joshua. The same thing goes. It was Jarrell Miller, Joseph Parker. Any of these top young heavyweights would be able to land on Tyson Fury on this version of Tyson Fury, because this version of Tyson Fury, the rust is there. You could see that he's not. He could see that he's basically has been coming off a layoff. You could just see he looks rusty. He doesn't look as sharp. He looks a lot heavier, and he looks slower. That's another thing. He looks slower. I know Tyson Fury normally is really good in the way he moves. He's really fluent in the way he moves. But against Surfer, he looked slower, and it was because of all that weight he gained. Remember when he fought Vladimir Klitschko, he weighed about 247 pounds. When he fought Surfer, I believe he weighed in the 270s. So he was actually 30 pounds heavier than he was when he fought Klitschko. So that's a 30 pounds more that he's basically carrying around, and that's why it's expected for him to look slower. That's why he looks slower, and that's why I really am picking Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua to beat him, because he's not going to be fast enough to get away. Like I said, he was always known for being a savvy guy, but when you gain a lot of weight, that slows you down, and it's easier and it's more difficult for you to evade punches when you were lighter, and it's easier for your opponents to be able to land their power punches on you because you're more stationary. So I completely agree with Tony Bellew. I do think this is an easier fight, despite the fact that Tyson Fury is bigger than Usyk. Again, we're not dealing with a prime Tyson Fury right now. We're dealing with an inactive Tyson Fury, while we're dealing with an in prime, in shape, fighting in the highest level, Aleksandr Usyk. Aleksandr Usyk is a problem, people. And I'm telling you, I'm picking him 100% to beat Tony Bellew.